Introduction: Unraveling the ADHD Stigma. Yes, it's a real thing, Karen. Hey there, brave soul. So you're diving into the enigmatic realm of ADHD, huh? Look, let's get one thing straight right off the bat. ADHD isn't just the quirky sidekick of the movie of life, it's the damn superhero. Granted, our cape might occasionally be worn as a turban because we forgot how capes work, and our superhero landing might look more like tripping over an invisible pebble. But hey, style points, right? Now, before you raise an eyebrow and mumble, "What the hell did I just pick up?" Hear me out. Sure, the world often paints ADHD as this inconvenient scatterbrain condition, the cosmic price we pay for, I don't know, being too fabulous. But what if I told you that behind all the lost car keys, forgotten anniversaries, sorry, Karen, and oh, look, a squirrel moments, there's an arsenal of superpowers just waiting to be unleashed? Oh, and don't worry, we won't be tiptoeing around the sciency bits with fluffy words. Nah, we're diving deep. But think of it as diving into a pool filled with glittery jello shots. Because why the hell not? We'll throw around terms like neurotransmitters with the same zest we reserve for curse words when we stub our toe. So, buckle up, my potentially ADHD or ADHD curious comrade. You're about to embark on a roller coaster ride, one that's been engineered by brains that can hyper focus on inorganic chemistry for hours, but forget what we had for breakfast. Let's unmask ADHD, embrace our quirks, and maybe, just maybe, find our keys in the process. The ADHD experience, beyond the hyper kid stereotypes. All right, ADHD squad, and the curious cats who somehow wandered here. Was it the cover or the title? Killed it on both, huh? It's time to get real. You know those classic ADHD images? Little Timmy bouncing off the walls at a family barbecue, fueled by too many candy bars and suspicious looking juice pouches? Or maybe the artistic dreamer Jane, forever lost in a daydream, with a knack for turning in her homework precisely never? We'll grab those cliched images, crumple them up, and slam dunk them into the trash bin of outdated ideas. And while you're at it, give them the finger. Because the ADHD spectrum is as broad and diverse as your grandma's TV remote collection. You know, the one she never uses but refuses to throw away. ADHD isn't just hyperactivity. Hell, not all of us are hyperactive at all. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had those days where I feel like a squirrel after a double espresso, but then there are moments where my couch and I become one, and the mere idea of moving feels like running a marathon. And the brainy stuff behind all this? Oh, it's freaking fascinating. Our brains aren't just playing jazz, they're orchestrating a multi genre fusion concert. Those neurotransmitters? Sometimes they're chilling, taking a smoke break when they should be passing crucial info. Other times, it's like they've had an energy drink overdose and are partying like it's 1999. We're going to dive deep into the mechanics of the ADHD brain, but think of it as exploring a vibrant, unpredictable jungle, not a dreary science lab. And trust me, by the end of this book, you'll realize ADHD isn't just about being the hyper kid or the space cadet. It's a galaxy of experiences with its own set of constellations and maybe a UFO or two, because why the fuck not? So, whether you're here trying to decode your own brain or you're just a curious wanderer, brace yourself. We're about to tear down the stereotypes, one misinformed cliche at a time, and discover the dazzling universe that is ADHD. Why this book? Because we need a guide that's not as dull as Aunt Carol's potato salad. Raise your hand if you've ever suffered through a mind numbingly boring self help book that made you want to chuck it across the room. Now raise your other hand if you've tried to understand ADHD, but found yourself drowning in a sea of medical jargon and yawn-inducing paragraphs. If you're currently standing with both arms raised, resembling a very confused referee, then, my friend, this book is for you. ADHD, the unofficial superpower, has for too long been cloaked in myths, misconceptions, and let's face it, dull-ass explanations. Think of this book as the spicy salsa to that bland-ass taco of information you've been fed. Why this book? Because who wants to sift through drab pages that feel like they've been penned by someone who thinks watching paint dry is a thrilling pastime? We need facts, sure, but wouldn't it be rad if those facts were served with a side of sass and a sprinkle of snark and maybe a dash of, did they really just say that? Let's be real. ADHD is a roller coaster, complete with exhilarating ups, frustrating downs, and those WTF just happened loop-de-loops. You need a guide that gets it, one that sits with you during the drops, hands you a tequila shot at the confusing bits, and celebrates with you at every peak. So if you are tired of the same old bland narrative, ready to get both informed and entertained, and willing to put up with a metaphor or 50, then welcome aboard. Together, we're going to dive into the kaleidoscopic world of ADHD and come out the other side with not just knowledge, but a few belly laughs too. Because, let's face it, if we're going to tackle a topic as wild as ADHD, we might as well have a damn good time doing it. How to use this book? No, not as a coaster. Listen up, my squirrel-chasing comrades. I know this book has some weight to it. Hell, it might even serve well to squash that spider that's been terrorizing your living room. But trust me, its true value lies beyond the fun cover, and it's just begging to be used for more than just a paperweight or that coaster you never knew you needed. No skipping around. I get it. ADHD makes us the reigning champs of skimming, skirting, and occasionally sprinting past details. But do me a solid and give each chapter a genuine whirl. It's like watching a TV series. If you skip the episodes, you might just miss the one where the quiet guy finally loses his cool and goes on a rant about pineapple on pizza, and I know you wouldn't want to miss that part. Doodles welcomed. For those artistically inclined, or even those who just love a good stick figure, feel free to doodle in the margins. Hell, if you find a page particularly enlightening, go nuts and bedazzle that bad boy. Disappoint the hell out of your first grade teacher. There's science, but stay with me. Look, we're going to delve deep into some brainy stuff. But fear not. For every big sciencey word, there's a sarcastic quip or an outrageous analogy waiting to lighten the mood. Apply what resonates. Some parts will hit you like, damn, that's me. And others might be more of a meh, and that's cool. Take what serves you, apply it, and for the bits that don't, well, they might serve as fun trivia during those awkward family dinners. Have fun. If you're not chuckling, smirking, or full-on belly laughing at least once every chapter, then I'm not doing my job right. This ain't your traditional self-help guide. Think of it as a joyride through the ADHD brain with a touch of science, a sprinkle of sarcasm, and a shitload of bad jokes. Lastly, promise me one thing. You won't just shove this book on a shelf and forget about it. I mean, it wouldn't be the first thing we ADHDers forget, am I right? Let it be that reliable, somewhat weird friend you turn to when ADHD throws its curveballs. Because, trust me, between the puns and the pro tips, this book's got your back. Now, with all the formalities out of the way, let's dive in, shall we? And hey, if you do end up using this as a coaster, just make sure it's for something fancy, like a mojito.